Hello YouTube, this is your boy. I am making this video because I feel like I am at a point in my life where imaginations are just, far-fetched ideals that cannot be physically attained, and I feel desperate, depressed, hopeless, helpless. And it's not necessarily because of myself as far as what I can physically do. I hear this all the time. Money seems to be mostly everybody's problem. It's the fact that man has potential to reach altitudes beyond basic understanding, because this man is disciplined, cultured, calculated. It is also possible that this man has had a lot of assistance from family members, community, people, strangers, you name it. I feel as if I am that man. But just like everybody else, finances, the lack of finances, the limitation of finances is obviously my issue. How is my story different from the next man who says I have so much potential? But all if I had a little money, people can see the real me. People can see what I can do without limit. I myself can see the altitudes that I can reach that I've never thought, never imagined, or doubt myself of ever attaining that level. It's not about the pyramid diagram that most of the gurus show you. Because whenever you have a life coach or a guru, they always use this pyramid as a diagram of life. And it's always you being not even at the bottom, but you are on the level of the sarcophagus, man. The sarcophagus is under the pyramid. And that is where most of us are. Only a limited or selected. But if that is the case, who selected them? Who is the person or who is the entity that selected man to be on the top of the pyramid? And if so, if this entity, or even God perhaps, why has God selected us to be at the bottom? Sometimes in life you have to know your worth. You have to know your level before you can talk numbers. You have to learn a number of different things before you can go out in a cold stone world. And it's not just, simple math. There's algorithms to this thing. There's algorithms to this system. Algorithms that only a selected few understand and is taken advantage of. This algorithm that the masses, such as myself and those who probably watch this video, who does not grasp. Why is it that we do not grasp this algorithm? You know why? Not like I have the answers, but the reason we cannot grasp this algorithm is because we are focused on a different equation of life. We are focused on a different equation that has nothing to do with the algorithm. You see, that's the problem with mathematics. There's so many different equations that look the same, but the answers are different. I always wanted to study math, in school and whatnot. But, like I said before, mathematics is something that you have to naturally be attracted to, or else you're just going to get confused by the number sequences and the algorithms and the algebra. How can I understand mathematics? How can you understand mathematics? Well, simple. All it takes is a pattern. Yes. Once you understand a numeric pattern, you are well on your way to understanding mathematics. Now, I'm not saying you're out of the devil's digestive system. I am saying you are at least close. You're closer than the average to understanding the algorithm of life. I call it the God geometry. I call it God's geometry. Because it's a lot of shapes, and numbers measure these shapes. And they are, of course, algebraic functions that require you to understand the shape of life, the shape of your difficulties, and the shape of your strengths. Now, I'm not talking circles, triangles, and fucking squares. I'm talking about the counter, the silhouettes, the solid, the prism. I'm talking about that. Real shapes, polygons. Okay? Mathematics is a wide subject. So, of course, it will be a little bit difficult to narrow down on exactly what type of mathematics you want to study. Well, let me tell you this. Just study algebra. Algebra is all you need, baby. Forget about the trigonometry. Forget about the fucking, John went to the store with 25 fucking cents. He got a 5% rate. How much does he? Fuck that. Just study your algebra. That is the clue. That is the answer. That is the steps to attaining a better understanding of your surroundings. It gives you a better understanding of numeric frequencies, functions. It helps you shape an ideal. Everybody has a strong ideal. The problem with ideal is this: when you have an ideal that is scattered, it's not a shape. Therefore, it is disfigured. But when your ideal is a polygon, that means you have shaped your destiny. You have shaped your life. You can feel the edges, the sides, the right angles, the acute angles. You can feel all of that shit. Believe me, man. Okay, where do I start? Okay, simple. Start off with understanding algebra. When you feel confident, evolve and elevate. Go to the next level. Because algebra just doesn't stop at math 100. You need to go to the 6th degree. It's okay if you're a part of your life where you're just comfortable, making a decent living, I could give a fuck less. I understand. Hey, I'm like that too. I'm a simple guy. I'm a Taurus. Okay, that's my horoscope. We don't really give a fuck about the extravagance of life. We have simple luxuries that we cherish and value. But I want to shape my life. I need to shape my life. I need to see the type of shape my destiny holds, so I can measure the shape and see the numbers that I'm working with. How can you put up a drape or hang up a portrait if your numbers are off? Then the picture will be crooked. The drapes will probably stretch halfway towards your floor-to-ceiling windows in a condo. You have to have perfect you have to be accurate when coming to mathematics. You have to be accurate when coming to life. You cannot go through life if your numbers are wrong. That means you'll be getting ripped off. People will always be chipping you, man. You'll be always paying more for bullshit less. You know? Like some fucking ruggedy drug deal in a fucking alleyway. You'll be paying $500 fucking for a point of a gram of some bullshit scag. But if your numbers are always right and you're accurate, you become the negotiator and the dealer, even if you are the consumer, because your numbers are accurate. You know the pattern. You know your algebra. You know your numbers. How does this make you $1 million overnight? Shit. I'm as fucking broke as you are, man. But when you understand certain things, what happens is that you unlock certain things in your mind. So things that used to be impossible all of a sudden just seem possible, doable. You have the ability to do it. Like myself, I did not necessarily drop out of college. I just stopped going. I couldn't afford it. Knowing what I know now, if I knew then, I would have fucking succeeded. I might have probably been a fucking astronaut with a cowboy hat on my head. Hey, this cowboy hat comes right the fuck off. This guy's a fraud. That's the thing about ignorance. It's contagious. You know? Ignorance is very contagious. And not that it's contagious. It's really, ignorance is like mental HIV. It just shuts down your intelligent cells. It replaces your smart cells with naive and unknowing and just no clarity. Without clarity, you don't know shit. You need clarity in your life. Too much fog. Too much smog. Too much haze. You know? How can I clear that? Well, you have to talk to yourself. When I don't mean like, hey, you know, I mean you have to, in retrospect, dig into your emotions. I know what pisses me off and I know what gets my dick hard. So I am able to easily talk to myself and maybe reroute a few connections. So the things that pisses me off possibly doesn't piss me off anymore. And I could control when my dick can get hard and who my dick can get hard with. I'm still working on that. Hell, my dick is hard right now and I haven't seen a bitch in miles. See, my penis has a way. He likes to talk when he shouldn't be talking. But when all the girls are around, he fucking likes to get shy and shit. Very ironic. Doesn't mean that I have erectile dysfunction. It just means that my penis has a mind of its fucking own. He decides when he wants to fucking perform. And that's what life is. When you have a life that is pretty much uncontrollable, your life just does whatever the fuck it wants without your fucking consent. Sometimes you want your life to, alright, I'm gonna wake up, my life is gonna be fucking, perfect, my day is gonna go smooth. Then all of a sudden you walk outside, step on some dog shit, a car passes by, splash a puddle, fucking, you pretty much take a fucking shower for that morning, a bird flies over your head, shit on top of your fucking head. Hell, you might probably just get robbed by fucking, a homosexual, fucking homeless guy. Fucking takes you for your wallet and slaps your ass while, then he runs off. Now, when you woke up, you didn't fucking, in your wildest imagination, think that that was gonna happen, but it fucking did. That's because you have no control of your life, and your life just does whatever the fuck it wants. You gotta have control over your life, baby. Now, I'm not just talking this shit just to talk it, because I'm trying to fucking control my piece of shit life too. Hell, my life motherfucking acts when he shouldn't be fucking acting. And the time when I want my life to fucking act, the motherfucker is nowhere to goddamn be fucking found. Like, hey man, what the fuck? I was getting my ass kicked, man. Where the fuck were you? Oh shit, man, I had a few beers, I got drunk, I jerked off, and I fucking fell asleep, man. Why didn't you call me? What the man, check your goddamn motherfucking phone, man. He digs in his pocket. This is my life. My life digs in his pocket. Oh shit, 16 missed calls and like 22 fucking voice messages. Oh my god, man, I'm sorry, man. No, man, motherfucker, you're not sorry, man. You're just not in tune with me. I'm a human being, but for some reason, this life that is supposed to be mine doesn't match the human being that God has put into this life. So we pretty much have a situation where, I'm a lifeless fuck. I'm just existing. I'm not living. I'm fucking existing. That means molecularly I'm here. But I don't matter. I'm like the fucking Patrick Swayze in the movie fucking Ghost. It's like, you could fucking see me and shit, but I'm trying to warn my fucking wife not to sleep with this fucking scumbag, and she doesn't fucking hear me. And she fucking sleeps with this fucking scumbag. Fuck my life. And he cream pied her too. I'm so fucking upset with that shit. As a ghost, I stood right there and I watched the fucking guy finish in my fucking wife. That goddamn bitch. Fucking whore. I'm triggered. Well, I just gave you guys the keys to success.